Today, I want to talk about how to stop impulse and emotional spending. Let me guess, you had a monster of a day at work, and before you know it, you're scrolling on the phone and you send that add to the cart button, and it's whispering sweet nothings to you. Or maybe you're just bored, and a little retail therapy sounds like, well, a harmless fix. But then the packages arrive and the monetary thrill vanishes. And you're left with a weird sense of regret and a bank account that's definitely looking smaller. Or a high credit card balance. If you're nodding along thinking, yep, that's me, you're not alone, and this is not a personal failure. It's a cycle. And in this video, I'm going to give you a practiced step-by-step guide to finally break free. Now let's be real, we've all been there. We've all made a purchase on a whim. In fact, research shows that the vast majority of us have made impulse buys. But when does it cross the line from a little treat to generally destructive habits? That's where the emotional spending comes in. It's when we let our feelings, stress, boredom, sadness, or even a big celebration hijack our wallets instead of the logic that we need. It's the kind of habit that can quietly sabotage your financial goals, lead to a mountain of debt, and trap you in a cycle of a temporary high followed by a crushing low. But here's the most important thing to get. It isn't just about lack of willpower. There's actual science at play. When you even think about buying something new, your brain releases a hit of feel-good chemicals called dopamine. That release creates a shopper's high that your brain naturally wants to feel again and again. Marketers are all over this. They design entire shopping experiences, from flash sales to one-on-one click buying, to trap you directly into dopamine loop. The problem? That high is very short-lived, and it's oftentimes followed by guilt and financial stress, which then makes you want, to get high again. See? It's a vicious cycle. But the good news is, any cycle can be broken. You just need the right tools. So how does this trap actually work? It's a classic conditioning loop, and it's surprisingly simple. First, there's a trigger and a crummy feeling like stress from your job, loneliness, or just mind-numbing boredom. Second, there's the routine. You shop, you scroll, you add to your cart, and you hit buy. This action delivers that dopamine rush, giving you an immediate but temporary sense of relief and control. And finally, there's the reward. The package on your doorsteps. The new shiny thing in your hands. Your brain, which is super efficient, quickly connects the dots. Feeling bad, the trigger, is fixed by the shopping routine, which leads to the feeling that things are better for a minute, reward. Before you know it, every time you feel that trigger, your brain's automatic response is to shove you towards the online checkout as the solution. Over time, you can even build a tolerance, meaning you need to shop more and buy pricier things to get that same initial rush. This is why just trying harder doesn't work. You're not fighting a bad habit, you're fighting your own brain chemistry. To win, you can't just resist the urge. You have to tear down the whole system and build a new, healthier one. So how do we do that? We're going to get practical. Here are the 5 concrete steps that can take you from this problem starting today to break the cycle of emotional and impulse spending for good. Step 1, become a detective of your own habits. First things first, you have to understand what you're up against. You can't fix a problem you can't see. Emotional spending often happens on autopilot. So our first mission is to flip the lights on and see what's really going on. The most powerful tool for this is a spending journal. For the next 30 days, I want you to track not just what you buy, but why you buy it. Use a notebook, a spreadsheet, a notes app, whatever works. For every single unplanned purchase, no matter how small, write it down and these three things. First, what did you buy and what did it cost? Get specific. Second, how were you feeling right before you made the purchase? Stressed, bored, anxious, lonely, or were you even celebrating? Be brutally honest. Now, no judgment here. This is just data collection. Third, what was the context? Where were you scrolling on the couch late at night? Were you on your lunch break after a tense meeting? In a grocery store while you were hungry? After a week or two, I promise you, patterns will start jumping out at you. You might discover you're only shopping online after 10 p.m. when you're exhausted. You might find your biggest trigger is mindlessly scrolling Instagram. Maybe you'll realize that every time you argue with your mom or your partner, you end up buying a new gadget to feel better. This isn't about shaming yourself. It's about arming yourself with knowledge. Recognizing your triggers is the first step to robbing them of their power. Once you know your enemy, you can build a plan of attack. Step 2 is create a mandatory cooling off period. Impulse, by definition, is immediate. It thrives on that feeling of now or never. The single most effective way to shut this down is to create a space between feeling and the action. Let's introduce you to the 24-hour rule. It's simple, but trust me, it's a game changer. Anytime you feel the urge to make an unplanned purchase over a certain amount, let's say $50, you're not allowed to buy it. Not yet. Instead, you put that item in your online cart, snap a picture of it in the store, or just write it down. Then you walk away and commit to waiting a full 24 hours. This pause works magic in 2 ways. First, it lets that initial emotional storm and that dopamine hit fade away. The intense urge to buy it is often just feeling emotional flare-up. Giving it time to breathe often reveals you don't actually want or need the item as badly as you thought. Today's must-have is very often tomorrow's, I can live without it. Second, it forces you to switch from your emotional brain to your logical brain. During this 24-hour break, you can ask yourself some real questions. Do I truly need this, or do I just want it? Where am I going to put it? And do I really own something just like it? How many hours of my life did I work to pay for this? And the big one, does this purchase get me closer to my long-term goals? You will be shocked at how many things you cheerfully abandon after a 24-hour period. This one simple rule puts the one thing impulse spending steals back into the equation. The thought, it gives you back the power of choice. Now, step 3 is to build a healthy coping toolkit. Let's face it, emotional spending is a coping mechanism. It's a strategy your brain uses, a clumsy one, to deal with tough feelings. Just telling yourself to stop it without having a replacement is like trying to hold your breath forever. Eventually, you're gonna crack. The key is to making this last is to build a toolkit of better, healthier coping mechanisms. Your mission is to create a go-to list of non-spending activities you can just whip out the second you feel a trigger. The goal is to find things that give you a similar dose of relief or distraction, just without the financial and emotional hangover. Look at the triggers you found in your spending journal. If your trigger is stress, what are some free things that actually help you to de-stress? Maybe it's going for a quick run, doing a 10-minute guided meditation, blasting a high-energy playlist, or calling a friend to vent and get it all out. If your trigger is boredom, what could you do to engage your brain? Maybe it's tackling a puzzle, learning a new skill on YouTube, or grabbing a book from the library, organizing a messy drawer in your kitchen, or finding a fascinating new podcast. If it's loneliness, how can you find connection? Could you schedule a video call with someone you miss? Look for a local club or community group, or even just go to the park and be around other human beings. Write this list down. Seriously. Put it on your fridge, make it your phone's locked screen, put it somewhere you can't miss it. And the next time you feel the urge to shop because you're stressed or bored, you don't have to rely on flimsy willpower. You just consult your list and you pick a new action. By doing this over and over, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're teaching it new, better ways to handle life. Step 4, engineer your environment for success. It's so much easier to avoid temptation than it is to resist it. Right now, your world is probably perfectly set up to encourage you to spend. We need to flip that script and create a brand new environment that makes mindless spending a hassle. It's time to add some intentional friction. Start with your digital world. Unsubscribe from every marketing email and text. Those 20% off and flash sale alerts are designed to create a fake sense of urgency and trigger your impulses. Get rid of them. Next, go into your browser and online shopping accounts and delete all your saved credit cards. All that information. If you have to physically get up, find your wallet, and punch in 16 digits for every single purchase, that little delay gives your brain precious seconds to ask, wait, do I really need this? Take it a step further. Delete all the shopping apps on your phone. Make it so you have to sit down at a computer to shop. That friction is your friend. Now let's look at the physical world. If you know you're always making impulse buys and it's at certain stores, just avoid them for a while. If you can't go in armed with a list and a commitment to buy only what's on the list. Some people even find it helpful to leave their credit cards at home and only bring the exact amount of cash they need. Watching physical money leave your hand makes a transaction feel much more real, and it can stop you from overspending. By tweaking your environment, you're not relying on willpower, which can be fickle. You're building a system that supports your goals by making it harder to spend mindlessly and easier to choose consciously. Step 5, budget for joy, not just bills. All right, this last one might sound a little backward, but stick with me. One of the best ways to stop uncontrolled spending is to create a plan for controlled spending. A budget that's all about restriction and saying no is miserable, and it just almost always fails. It makes you feel deprived, which can trigger a rebellion where you end up binge spending just to feel free. The goal isn't to stop spending on fun things forever. It's to do it in your own terms, without a shred of guilt. This is why you need to create a guilt-free spending, or what I call a joy fund, in your budget. Look at your income and expenses and decide a realistic amount of money that you can set aside each month purely for fun. This could be for a new book, a fancy coffee, dinner with friends, or that sweater you've been eyeing up. The magic here is that this spending is planned. It's a deliberate choice you made when you were calm and logical. When you use this money, there's zero guilt. zero shame, zero regret, because you budgeted for it. It's part of your financial plan. This flips your mindset from scarcity to control. It provides to you that you can enjoy life and treat yourself while still being financially responsible. It gets rid of all or nothing thinking that can so often blow up our good intentions. When you know you have a stash of cash dedicated to fun, that desperate, impulsive urge to buy something just to feel good starts to lose its power. You're the one in charge now. Breaking the cycle of emotional and impulse spending isn't about becoming a perfect, unfeeling financial robot. It's about becoming more aware, more intentional, and frankly, kinder to yourself. So let's recap the game plan. First, you become a detective and track your spending triggers. Second, you give yourself a break with the 24-hour rule. Third, you build a toolkit of healthy coping habits. And fourth, you rig your environment for success. And fifth, you plan for fun by budgeting for joy. This is a process. You'll have setbacks, and that's totally okay. The goal here is progress, not perfection. Every time you pause before buying, every time you go for a walk instead of opening an app, you're casting a vote for the person that you want to be. You're taking one more step forwards towards financial and emotional freedom. You've got this. I'm genuinely curious. What's your biggest emotional spending trigger? Is it stress, boredom, or something else entirely? Drop it in the comments below. You might be surprised by how many people get exactly what you're feeling. And if this was helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I will bring more practical guides on mastering your money and your life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.